Batman Last Night on Earth, issue 3, Scott Snyder writing, Greg Capullo on art. So, take it away.
No. So Pete is when you read the first issue,
I didn't.
and we're like, I thought you did. I thought you
No,
read
he
parts
didn't
of
even
it.
touch it.
Yeah, I was out. I was out.
Well,
All-Star Batman and what did they do together before this?
Metal was the last thing they did, I think.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I guess it wasn't a Batman thing, but
So
I was out.
basically, it goes exactly where you think it goes, and I was very disappointed in that. That up to this point, it was a real fun what if future, and then with that ties up what Snyder and Capullo had done back in New 52. I never did like that it was reliant on the Batman machine because I hated that thing with every ounce of my being. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the first two issues were a lot of fun. You had what's his Bane and Scarecrow going about being all creepy. You had that fun Superman,
Joker head telling
the Joker
jokes
head,
constantly.
and whatnot. And then this just goes like I feel like this could have been 4 issues and not 3, and it could have been expanded upon. But then you're giving Snyder more words, and that's a problem.
See, I think this is easily the weakest of the 3 issues.
Yeah.
However, I think part of its problem is that it's actually a very kind of self-contained issue. Like there's a couple of references to things in the first 2 issues, but for the most part, this issue
feels
sets
like it's
you up as a new thing.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's part of the other 2.
It doesn't.
Like,
and I think the issue gets better as it goes on. Like I like the ending for the most part. I like where it goes. But just the start, like it feels like it just slows down so much compared to where we were, that it just loses all that momentum. It feels like an issue 1 again of okay, and this is the status quo and this is the scenario.
And so like they reveal who Omega is, and it's like the most unfulfilling, reveal.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's so it's Bruce. Bruce never died. That was all a lie. He got ripped apart by the people that embraced Doom, and that clicked something in his head that he needed total control, and that he was going to take over. And so he takes over Gotham, and then the own Bat family ended up becoming owls because of what
he corrupted the Bat symbol, essentially.
Right. Which was pretty cool. It made me think about Metal. You remember the different clans?
Yeah.
It made me think, like, are we ever going to get the rest of that? Or
I mean, we might. There's still probably a Snyder crisis to come.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting, though, in the sense that, the Bat was always in that mythology. Yeah. That's the bad thing, and Batman kind of co-opted that for justice instead of doom, so to speak.
Right.
And this here, it's kind of reverted back to its natural position.
And then the owl was the Hot Clan represented, right? Like, and here it comes out because you got Nightwing still running around. You find out that Damian fell. He was one of the first to fall to Omega, which that kind of checks out, right? Like,
yeah.
Oh no, he fell. Did he fall with Batman?
He fell with Batman on the first day. It said, yeah. So it wasn't Bruce that took him out. That was just another thing that Bruce lost.
Right. That doesn't check out with me because it's Damian, right? Like,
sure.
And then so Omega pops up, and they all playing coy on who it is to this new Bruce, but you have Barbara there with their child. It's just Bryce.
It's just Bryce. I think
it's pretty
the
asexual
implication
name.
is that it's
a daughter, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Not trying to assume anything, but shaved head, resist tattoo, pretty asexual there. But Barbara and Dick have this child together. That's the next generation, which I thought that was a pretty cool touch of it. And Gordon's gone blind, which he says is kind of good. Now he doesn't have to see what's become of the city and whatnot. But it just basically becomes a showdown between this new Bruce and Omega saying that, this is what this world deserves, and that you were supposed to take over for me because you don't have the scars that I do, and you could be fresh, but you've been corrupted by everything. And Joker is still wanting to be Robin.
So he builds himself like a mecha Robin suit and puts his fishbowl on the top.
And you find out that Tim he figured this out, how to fight Omega back, but Omega broke him so bad that he had to build this exoskeleton kind of mech suit that he ended up
just
dying
to
in.
move. Yeah.
Yeah, and he sacrificed himself to lead the first strike. So the Joker head ends up going in there, like in Futurama, when Nixon's walking around.
Pretty much.
Um,
Honestly,
and
I know there's some people who don't like this, who hate the idea of Joker being Robin, and I get that. But in this book, this Joker kind of works.
well, you find out that Alfred, because he blamed Joker for this, that Omega had basically, just offed him. He was the first thing he went after,
Yeah.
and that he had hung his head out on a post, and that Alfred was the one that saved it by putting it in the
Yeah,
jar.
I assume because it was like, Joker represented the whole,
Right,
the entirety of Bruce not killing someone, right? Because
right,
that was the one who would always push him the
right.
closest. So I think Alfred thought by saving that, maybe he could still save Bruce.
Yeah. So, at the end, the new Bruce ends up taking over, and they take back Gotham from Omega, who
Yeah.
still has dark side powers, which I still don't quite get, but whatever.
Yeah, he's got like Metron's chair and stuff like
Right.
that.
So,
Uh,
but it
John,
just
here's the
it
thing
becomes.
I like,
Go
though,
ahead.
in terms of with the machine coming into play, which I know Matt, and we've
I
all kind of
hate
been
it.
on record as kind of not liking the machine.
Yeah.
In this story, let's just kind of it's there. I like the idea of the fact that Bruce thinks that, oh well, now I've got a new one, fresh body,
Right.
great. But the idea of no, it just made an actual Batman, and
Right.
and the idea of it's not just if Bruce goes past his physical peak that there needs to be a new Bruce. It's if he gets broke, whenever if he goes on too long, eventually something will go wrong and he'll snap and he'll stop being Bruce. I mean, even going back to like Dark Knight Returns,
No, and
that
I
Bruce is a
get
bit of
that.
a dickbag, and this is the idea of
He
he'll always be young and idealistic.
Yeah, he is, but he never loses his point of view. And here, I hate evil Batman. Like, I hate evil Batman more than I hate evil Superman as a trope, because like this is why I hate Batman Who Laughs. Is he's unbeatable unless he comes up against Batman. Like no one else is able to do it. Not the Bat family, not it's got to be a new fresh Batman. I know Snyder says he hates the Bat God, but he's written the Bat God far too often.
He has. He absolutely
For me to believe that. So, like, I do think he thinks it's a boring story thing, and here it's kind of earned, but I still don't like it. Like, it comes down to taste, and I got bored about 2/3 of the way through this, and I was like, I know exactly where this is going.
Mhm.
Like, it's not gonna surprise me. Like, so
honestly,
but
for
yeah.
me, the very worst part of this issue is the very start. And I was really worried in those first few pages because the first few pages are quote unquote present day.
Right.
I don't know if it actually has an actual time on it, but it's it's young Bruce, original Bruce with young Gordon, and they're replacing the lamp on the bat signal. And
That's right.
there's a suggestion that that Joe Chill had a son,
Right.
and we've never heard about this before because all the records were removed. He had a different name, and the son died, and he died in the operating table, because the doctor was drunk, and it went wrong, and it said the doctor listed was Thomas Wayne, and it's this implication that Joe Chill's actions that night were actually revenge, not just this random. And I hate any time they do that. It's just a random shooting. Honestly, if you had it my way, wouldn't even know it was called Joe Chill. We'd never find out. There'd be no one. It'd just be random person. That would be the complete unsolved mystery.
Well, the time I like that is like in the Dark Knight movie or in Batman Begins, when he works for the Falcones and he's just a random thug, right? And he represents like the worst of Gotham taking out the best of Gotham. Someone that's trying to help that person. Yeah. And so I like that because it gives a face to that person, of that citizen of Gotham, right?
Sure, but in general, I don't need it to be this mystery that Bruce solves. No. I mean, I hope this bit never comes up again. Really, that is my one concern from this issue. Because for the most part, none of this is ever going to happen. It's fine. It's just it's borderline and Elseworlds.
Well, yeah, it's a metaverse thing, right? Like this is a universe that exists now because of the New 52.
And
Because this
do
is
you know
all New
what?
52 Batman.
I think this really actually plays with the metaverse
Yeah,
idea in
it
a
does.
very neat way, because the ending of this, after they, after they win,
Hmm.
um, we get, the final part, because this book's been split into like 9 parts, each,
Right.
3 for each issue, and in the final part, it's like doorway, and we're in just on the street, in the day, and there's a portal about to open, and they know there's a portal coming, and they've marked the spot, and then what lands but baby Clark's rocket.
Right.
And this feels like this is the metaverse thing, right? This is
Hmm.
okay, this is now it's time for Superman in this earth, so to speak.
That's yeah. It's getting a jump start basically
Yeah,
from what it was.
it's basically it's going to go from all that terrible awfulness that it was, and now
Right.
Superman's here, so it's all going to be all right in the future.
Right.
Like even Joker is like, oh man, Superman's here.
Right.
And I really like this ending because again, for all of the story, as much as this is the Bat God, as you say, and only Batman can win, at
Right.
the end of it, it's no, Superman's here, hope is restored, and I kind of like that.
Right. Which would have been cool if we didn't see the Superman robot, right? Like
Yeah,
in the last one, if we had just gotten hit that Superman was gone,
that's fair.
right? So, but also there's a whole part with Martian Man as I was flipping through.
Oh yeah, so there's a two-pronged attack when they have to take out before they to take out
Right.
Omega. So Omega's got this signal which is brainwashing people. He's got the
Right.
thing that's sending the signal, and then the amplifier.
It's
So
the anti-life basically.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And Martian Manhunter is the amplifier because he can, psychically beam it into
Right.
everyone on Earth because he's that strong. And they've done something to him so that he tries to resist. He's got like a metal socket in his head, like
Right.
where he's had information downloaded into him. He's not Jean anymore.
Right.
Some cool art stuff where he's taken out Wonder Woman and he, his arm shapeshifts into like a crab claw.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. He he definitely looks older, and he looks like Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z. Or
He's definitely more
accurately,
alien.
he looks like King Piccolo from Dragon Ball. Is
Okay.
exactly what he looks like.
Sure.
The old man version essentially, and it's kind of cool.
But yeah, but he basically does he sacrifice himself? No.
Yeah, they kind of stop him though, don't they? They take him
Yeah.
out.
Yep. So, before because he realizes,
Yeah, and
Can't help it.
Diana uses the lasso of truth to kind of remind him of who he
wake him
is.
up.
Yeah.
Yep. And he stops the signal, and that's eventually, But yeah, no, I just knew exactly where it was going. It was nice after reading Doomsday Clock to see the baby Clark show up and make that connection.
Yeah.
But this was something I was really excited for. So being disappointed kind of sucks, just
Yeah.
because.
I agree. Like, I don't think this is a bad issue in any way. Like, I actually think it's pretty solid, if somewhat predictable.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
it comes down to a taste thing, I guess. Too.
yeah, I think it has a bit of a rougher start in that it does feel like, the first 2 issues. Not they didn't matter, but like
Right.
this was just, hey, if you didn't catch those last 2 issues and someone just told you this is the last Snyder Capullo Batman issue and you need to read this for whatever reason, it was the hot thing at the shop that week, and they were just going, hey, you don't
It
wanna miss
wasn't.
this.
Come on now.
I know. I'm saying theoretically, in that scenario, you could pick this issue up and you could read it without having read the other 2 issues, and it works, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But not all entirely bad. And Capullo kills it.
Yeah, the
Constantly.
art's fantastic. That's not a complaint. It goes full Snyder, and I'm just
It does, yeah.
after going full Snyder, and I respect that guy a lot because he does do, big stories. I think I enjoy them more than Pete does, but his Batman stories, I'm over it by now. So,
That's
so
fair.
what you rating it, Connor?
I'm gonna give it a 7, but it's a pretty
Okay.
soft 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 5.5, and most of that's the art.
Oh, that's low for Matt.
Yeah.
That's really low.
You may
I
as
told
well
you, I
find out
almost
where
didn't
Scott.
finish it.
You might as well find out where Scott Snyder lives and stalked his family for a week and left some creepy messages in his mailbox.
That's okay. I enjoy Justice League. He gets, you know, a pass from there. I love Metal, so, you know.
I'm more of a plastic man.